The rehabilitation of the gravel road between Zwed Road and Fishtown, while a number of feeder roads are being rehabilitated under the SAPEC project. This support will bring the total value of our ongoing interventions in Liberia to about $380 million. Honorable Minister, the bank support which we are about to sign covers about 40% of the total cost of the project, estimated at $87.8 million. An EU grant of €20.2 million and a potential EIB loan will cover the program, will cover the balance. The program will be implemented from January 2019 to December 2022, and the project roads are expected to be in use by 2021. To ensure the long-term sustainability of these projects, we look forward to continued progress on the road sector reforms. These reforms call for coordination across several ministries to prepare a reform roadmap and requires that they work together to ensure the reforms are fully implemented. Combining infrastructure provision with governance reforms to ensure sustainability are key aspects of the African Development Bank support to the government's pro-poor agenda. To facilitate timely commencement of the program activities, we will encourage Government of Liberia to ensure that the payment of compensation to project-affected persons are finalized by the middle of November 2018. We have commenced the preparation of our new country strategy to guide our cooperation from 2019 to 2023. I therefore look forward to working closely with you, Honorable Minister, and your team to sustain the quality of our existing operations in order to meet the goal of improving economic and social well-being of the people of Liberia. I wish to conclude by assuring you of the Bank Group's continued support to Liberia's development efforts in the true spirit of partnership. I would like to appreciate the government's team that worked with us during the preparation of this project, especially the staff of the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, the Ministry of Public Works, as well as the tax team from the bank. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. We'd like to recognize the President of the Representative of the European Union. At this time, we now call on the Honorable Monrovia, Minister of Public Works, who will now make the
Current Minister of Finance, officials of government here present, representation from the European Union, the African Development Bank, members of the full estates, ladies and gentlemen. We are very pleased this morning to be a part of this very, very important ceremony as the primary beneficiary institution of the assistance which we are discussing today. We'd like to express, firstly, our profound appreciation to the African Development Bank, and by extension to all of our development partners for their sustained support to the infrastructure development of Liberia, especially roads connectivity. We know that by the signing of this agreement today, your assistance to the road sector will amount to a little over 150 million. And when all of these projects are completed as designed, we will have been able to pave a little over 160 kilometers of roads in our country. We have always said that the road situation in Liberia is very critical. Liberia, a country of 171 years of age, cannot boast of more than what we call 1,000 kilometers of paved roads. In our network, we have about 12,000 kilometers of roads, as you all know very well. Unfortunately, as the oldest independent African country, we have about 850 kilometers of roads now that were paved. It means that we have to begin to move robustly. And as a government, we cannot do this alone. That is why we appreciate your assistance. And so today we like to say, of course, on behalf of His Excellency the President, who has named us to steer the affairs of the Ministry of Public Works, we'd like to say thank you. We'd like to assure you that at the Ministry of Public Works, we are prepared, we are ready to work along with you to ensure that these projects are delivered on time and they are of the quality as designed. We also like to assure you that when we receive your recent communication, Mr. Minister of Finance, maybe I should let you know this. We've received a communication from the African Development Bank informing us about preparatory works being done by the bank as they begin to put into motion plans for the next 5 years. They've also suggested to us that they are prepared to expand their support to Liberia. So this is good news. We've also communicated with them, indicating to them some of our major projects. And I'm sure that at the appropriate time, will be participating in another signing ceremony for another road corridor in Liberia. So once again, we are grateful, we are appreciative, and we hope that this collaboration will continue. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Official of government, dear President, representative from the European Union, Country Director of the African Development Bank. At this time, it's my pleasure and honor to now present to you the Honorable Samuel E12 Jr., Minister of Finance and Development Planning and Governor of the African Development Bank, who will now make a remark.
Mr. Minister of Liberia, Minister of Public Works, Deputy Ministers of the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, the Country Director, my dear friend and brother of the African Development Bank, representative of the European Union, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's always a great thing when traditional partners, in this case the African Development Bank, bring this level of support to Liberia. We're proud of our affiliation, our association with the African Development Bank. And on behalf of the President of the government, I think use this opportunity to convey the deepest, profoundest appreciation of the country and what the bank is doing in Liberia and plans to do in Liberia. Let me extend on behalf of the President, thanks to President Addison, to the board, which approved this on September 19th. I was elated when I heard of the board approval, and I think it's great. So the President has already hinted in the remark by the Minister of Public Works that road is the centerpiece of its national development aspiration of the country. And as you're aware, we're looking to see that the whole stretch from Uganda to happen, that whole stretch in the southeast in the next 3 or more years should be done. So people should be able to drive from Monrovia to Happen unhindered over the next 3 years. Within that 3-year span, we should be able to do that. We are engaging you and the World Bank in additional financing under this new framework for road development. The President wants to do at least 1,000 kilometers of road, and the World Bank has committed along with you, and I think we have some of our conversations at the Bali annual meeting with our Arab partners as well to see how we can scale up road financing for road development like that. We look forward to those communities. But we're very happy for this particular project and what it will mean for the Southeastern region, what it will mean for the sub-regional nexus with the Ivory Coast. We're looking to do all we can so that we can bring relief to our people. You can clearly see that the structure of the new development plan, making a road a priority is critical because you know the dividends. We all do know the dividends that road bring to the economies. this is the best way to affect the poorest of our people, because all they have with them is their roads. The roads for health, for education, for transport, for business. I saw photos of people standing in line in Georgia the other day, trying to get rice because something about price of rice being high because of the difficulty. This is something that we have had for the past 12 years. This is something we can assure the Liberian people that in the next 6 years, this will not happen because these roads will be paved. This is the concrete delivery that we are promising through our Popo Agenda for Prosperity and Development. I use this opportunity to say that the Popo Agenda for Prosperity and Development is, I think, in its final stage. It's about to be launched, most likely by the end of this month. The Cabinet of the Government of the Republic of Liberia will be taking a look, one final look at the agenda on Friday. All cabinet members have been sent copies. I think development partners, I hope you received your latest version. This is the revised draft. And we're taking one more stab at it, and I think in the next 2 weeks it should be in its final stage. It's ready for the president to launch his vision. When the government comes to power, you articulate your broad vision in the development plan. We have developed this vision. The president will be delivering this vision in the shortest possible time in the history of this country, in the history of many of the development plans. And so this vision will articulate the broad ideology and the framework of the president's agenda. It's well clear. Roads, human development, human capital development is a priority for this country. Domestic resource mobilization is a priority. There is no way we cannot continue to run on the $400 million budget and have these big dreams about doing roads and all of that. At some point, the fiscal space has to grow. So we're taking a big step, and I know this is something that is of keen interest in the African Development Bank, and I know you continue to work in our public financial management space, helping the LRA. You've done a lot of work in this area. We need to see all of this come down to fruition. As we're delivering roads, we're reforming our public financial management system, we're expanding our tax base, we're improving our tax effort so that people pay taxes in the real estate. The new Commissioner General is doing a lot of good work in ensuring that we move very fast on the low-hanging fruit of real estate taxation. This is a huge potential we have for revving up revenue generation. So the plan will be the linchpin of all of these efforts, so that in the next 3, 4, 5 years we can see once and for all how public monies work for people. People can really see the dividends. And we've already shown some of that in the last 6 months with the gains we've made in reforming, in cutting salaries, in putting health workers on payroll. You're aware that the health pool fund dried up. We couldn't allow 2,000, the president couldn't allow 2,000 health workers to stay on. That would impose huge crisis in the health sector. We have to absorb those. Giving those space was very limited. So we're very happy. We have partners like the African Development Bank. At a time where some citizens and Liberians are calling for people to freeze support to this wonderful country that we're all fighting for, we're proud that you're still standing with us in the same environment when people are calling on the freezing of it. It's just fortunate, but we deal with that rubbish a lot of time. So this is to say thank you on behalf of the president. We look forward to a more effective and efficient delivery on this project. And as I've said before, I think what we have to do as we launch this new development plan is to deliver better. We're planning as a government, institutions of government, to be able to deliver better so that we cut a lot of the time, whether it's for ratification of loans, whether it's for approval, it's for disbursement, that the bank and the government can work to really shorten the implementation cycle so that we move a little faster. This is the request that the president wants me to convey to the board and to the management of the bank, and we're conveying this request to all of our international partners. We need to cut the time it takes to procure, to implement these projects, because people, to build roads take a long time. We do know that traditionally, but there are ways in which we can shorten that cycle. We need joint memoranda on this, joint framework of implementation that shortens this, so that something that can be delivered in 2 years is not delivered in 4. We agreed there was some setback on the Ganta-Zwedru road because of the road fund. And this is the problem. Road fund is set back nearly a year. That development is set back nearly a year because we met the road fund in a difficult situation. It took this president almost 6 months to resolve this difficult situation. If the former president had not left this difficult situation, we would have been able to deliver breakdown in Canada Road sooner. So this is a challenge. We're only as good as what we met on the ground. And so now that the road fund is over, and I'm glad that we need to make further efforts on broader road sector reform, a road maintenance strategy, a road plan. Then we all need to convene these meetings and make progress on that. But we do have a road fund. We look to grow that road fund and use it as an investment modality to leverage it to do more road financing across the country. I was out yesterday or the day before the president's birthday. The Minister of Public Works committed, along with me and the president, to do all of the community roads here, and I think 2 roads, and we want to do more. All right, 87 kilometers or so, costing around maybe 5 or 60 million. We can find that money from the budget to do this kind of work. So we're very happy that the AFDB is standing firm with us, the World Bank, the European Union, CDAC, all of our partners are standing with us, and they have understood the importance of roads. The consensus now is that yes, we agree with our roads, we can't do much, so we all are now working in synergy to ensure that we identify financings for road, and then we link roads to agricultural programs. The priority, especially economic zone program in Buchanan, we talked about working with USAID very soon to turn Buchanan into a special economic zone. I'm glad the bank is in on this as well. USAID with the World Bank will move fast, because while we're building the roads, we can't technically wait for the roads before we move growth. Growth is a determinant, but there are other ways to shorten that cycle, especially economic zone with light manufacturing is a strategy. And I'm glad that you are with us on this path. We have a SEC law, we need to move fast on implementing that as well. So there's a whole panoply of things that's happening in the next year, the next 2 years. Government's going to be very busy delivering the goods for our people. They're practicing housing, social housing in the pipeline. There are all kinds of investments. We're planning in agriculture that will be up there. It takes time for these things to materialize. In the meantime, we're also looking at cash transfer program. We're working with partners in World Bank to see how we can improve cash transfers to vulnerable populations across the country. Today, I think we're targeting around 30,000 or 40,000 households. I hear the number in that range from 40 to 60. We need to scale that up to around 200,000 Liberians, okay, who are vulnerable Liberians. That will then have the kind of impact. But to target 30,000, 60,000 persons in the last 20 years doesn't seem like a heavy lifting. So the Pro-Poor agenda for prosperity is moving, that cash transfer and the whole issue of social protection to a new level under President Weah. All of these things are on the table to do for our people. We'll continue to do the heavy lifting, and we're very happy that a bank like you, the African Development Bank, remains a friend with us in achieving all of this. Thank you. Please again convey our thanks to the President.